Welcome student to my channel Educare Maths and Science. Today I now discuss physics motion in one dimension. Under this motion in dimension already discussed the velocity, rest and motion, speed, and the one main important thing is the acceleration and retardation. Is a very interesting thing. If there is a velocity, any vehicles moving vehicle is not uh, continue to move their equal velocity. So there is a certain slow motion, that is a decrease or increase. So the acceleration or the retardation is a new idea. What is acceleration? What is retardation? On the basis of this, you just discuss here. I already written down all these things for your better understanding and time saving. Now, in generally, just I discussed here. Generally, bodies do not move with uniform velocity. তুমি একই স্পিড দিয়ে কোনো জায়গায় যেতে পারবে না. So that is a jam. So you have to stop it. You have to decrease your speed, increase your speed. On the basis of this, in case of scooter or the bike or the vehicles, acceleration. So accelerate. So accelerator is there. Accelerator, that means the use of breakup. The gear system is there. So for that reason, that accelerate. That means you increase your speed. If there is a open road, if there is a very crowded road, you just decrease your speed. So accelerate, the negative acceleration, that is called the retardation. You just apply your brake for controlling the speed. So these are new terms is the acceleration, and the negative term of this or the opposite term is retardation. So generally the body does not move with a uniform velocity. That means a bike 40 kilometer per hour. So constantly you cannot move with a 40 kilometer per hour. If the road is open, very open, you just increase your speed. So 40 to 50, 50 to 60. When there is a crowded, so 40, you just apply your brake. So 30, 20, 40. So that means the retardation, and that is if you increase the velocity, that is called the acceleration. The application is that the acceleration, accelerated is there. Okay, so what is this? Actually, acceleration, velocity increase, that is accelerate. The vehicles is accelerate. When the velocity decrease, that means you retarded. In case this is a brake is applied, increase, you speed up. Gear system, first gear, second gear, third gear, you just gear up this. Okay, so acceleration actually means change in velocity with the time. Change in velocity. Suppose you just running with the 40 kilometer per hour. Now now the present speed is 60 kilometer per hour. What is the change in velocity? 60 kilometer per hour minus 40 kilometer per hour. That is a change in velocity. And in which during the time, suppose 2 hours, divide by 2. Divide by 2. So rate of change of velocity. Rate of change of velocity. That is called the acceleration. Rate of change of velocity. If the velocity is a positive sign, so this is the acceleration. If the velocity is a negative sign, that is the retardation. That means you apply the brake. Okay. So here we just know initial velocity you denote u, final velocity you denote v. The change in time is called denoted by t. So what is the change in velocity? V minus u. Change in velocity, v minus u. Rate of change of velocity in which time? That is v minus u by t. That is actually called the acceleration a. Acceleration denoted by a. Okay, very good. So here you just multiply a into t. A t is equal to v minus u. So if you just u is shifted, at plus u is equal to v. Now the new formula is developed. V is equal to u plus at. That is a very important thing. The new formula is developed. V is equal to u plus at. V means the final velocity you calculate from the initial velocity you put. What is the rate of acceleration and the time. In which time is accelerated. So a formula is developed here. V is equal to u plus at. Okay. Now one thing is very important. What is the unit? In case of velocity, you know meter per second. Initial velocity, final velocity meter per second, and time is second. So now here is v minus u. So ultimately the unit is meter per second here, and here is also a second. That means 2 seconds is out. So meter per second square. Down, this is the down division. So second square. So you write the acceleration 2 second. Second square is coming for that reason. Meter per second square, because this second and this second is second square. If you in case of indices, you know this shifting power is minus 2, or you stroke this meter per second square. This means actually the division. So 3 pattern meter per second square. So this is the division sign here, or you in case of indices meter per second square minus 2. Why the second square is coming? One is coming from this second velocity meter per second, and one is rate of change in velocity at the time. So here is also a second. So 2 second is there. For that reason, the meter per second square. Okay, clear. Now uniform acceleration. That means the acceleration uniformly. Suppose 2 meter per second square is the acceleration. That is uniform. Each and every time you accelerate 2 meter per second square. Very important things are unit. In case of acceleration, you need always centimeter per second square or meter per second square, kilometer per hour square. That is, our square is very important, meter per second square. So if there is a uniform acceleration, each and every time 2 meter per second square, 2 meter per second square, that is called the uniform acceleration. Equal change in velocity by equal time, in which you calculate equal change in velocity by equal time. Okay, suppose a free fall of a body, just you drop a ball, free fall. Here is, so this is the earth surface, just a free fall. There is no obstruction. So uniform acceleration. In case of this is a gravity. G. Acceleration due to gravity, that is a free fall. The uniform acceleration, that means there is no change in the acceleration. Free fall, there is no obstruction. So uniform accelerate, they fall from this upper part to the surface. Uniform acceleration when you free fall. But variable acceleration, that means acceleration. So acceleration also change. Because in the first second accelerate 2 meter per second square. But next stage, these are 3 meter per second square. Acceleration is change. That means variable acceleration means not equal change in velocity, equal time. First second, that is the change in 2 meter per second. But next 1 second, these are 3 meter per second. 3 meter per second. That means in the first second, 2 meter per second the change in velocity. But the second stage, the 3 meter per second. That means variable acceleration means not equal change in velocity. Here is 2 meter per second, the change in velocity. Here is 3 meter per second, the change in velocity. Equal time means in 1 second. So these actually called the variable acceleration. Here is the acceleration is 2 meter per second square. Here is the acceleration 2 meter per second square. Here is the acceleration 3 meter per second square. So variable acceleration. When the variable acceleration is applicable, motion car in a crowded road, তুমি একটা ক্রাউডেড রোডে ভেতরে দিয়ে যাচ্ছ, কখনো তুমি অ্যাক্সেলারেট করছো, কখনো তুমি বাড়াচ্ছ, কখনো কমাচ্ছ, কখনো when you increase the speed, decrease the speed, but when the increase the speed, the rate of increase of speed is change, the rate of decrease the speed also change. তুমি একই রেটে বাড়াচ্ছ না, একই রেটে কমাচ্ছ না, no, you just increase your velocity, increase your speed, not a same rate. Decrease your speed, not a same rate, because the crowded road. কখনো তুমি very speed, gradually very quick, কখনো তুমি কমিয়ে ফেলছো. So that is a change in velocity in the not equal change in velocity, not equal time. In equal time you just change your velocity different. কখনো খুব আস্তে করছো, কখনো খুব জোরে. When you just very speed up, gear up, কখনো very slow. So there is a change of each and every time, the change in velocity in equal time. Because it's a crowded road. For that case, the variable acceleration is applicable. Is okay. Motion of a car in a crowded road, very congested area. If you just certain increase, suppose 2 meter per second, next second 3 meter per second, but it's a very crowded area, 1 meter per second. So this is each and every time the velocity is very quickly changed. In that case, the variable acceleration is applicable. Is okay? Clear to you? Now, here is a new item. This is the acceleration due to gravity. You know, Earth is a huge magnet, and each and every substance on the Earth's surface attract. That is called the acceleration, gravitational force. If there is a force, there is an acceleration. F is equal to ma. There is a force, there is an acceleration developed. So due to the gravity, the gravitational force, the Earth attract towards their center each and every body. So there is an acceleration. This acceleration called acceleration due to gravity. That is denoted by small g. Acceleration due to gravity is a constant, is a constant value. This is a 9.81 meter per second square or 981 centimeter per second square. Approx idea is 10 for the calculation. But one is very important thing. Acceleration due to gravity is do not depend on the mass of the body. তোমার বডিটা কতটা মাস, কতটা হেভি, not depend on this. acceleration due to gravity, the value of g does not depend on the mass of the body. The greater mass, higher mass, big mass, or a small mass not depend on this. Acceleration is fixed. Acceleration is fixed. For that reason, if m1 greater than m2, to me same thing. Suppose you drop different mass. Suppose you drop here, this is a 5 kg and the small 5 gram, same height, the same time এখান থেকে সাপোজ এটা তুমি 5 pm এ ছেড়েছো, এটাও 5 pm এ ছেড়েছো, এটা টাচ করছে 5 মিনিটসে, এটাও কিন্তু 5 মিনিটসে টাচ করবে, not on the basis of the this is a 5 kg and this is a 5 gram. What is the meaning of this? The value of g does not depend on the mass of the body. If two bodies of the different mass, 5 kg, 5 gram, simultaneously drop from the same height, this is age, this is height, this is earth surface, same height, from a same height, both will reach ground simultaneously একই সময়। এটা যদি 5টায় ছাড়ো, 5টা 5 এখানে টাচ করছে, here is 5 pm, this also 5, এটাও 5টা 5 রিচ করছে, this is also 5, 5টা 5 রিসিভ হবে, এখানে টাচ করবে, so reach the ground at the same time. So that means if there is a heavy weight that is very quickly bound and this is the very small weight, is a time taken is greater, is not that same time reach, because there is no obstruction. If there is a vacuum, because here is no effect of friction, এখানে যদি এয়ার থাকতো, এয়ার কি করতো, এয়ার একটা বাধা দিত, but in case এটা যদি ভারী, তাহলে এই বাধাটা the overcome this friction and other buoyancy force, এটা কিন্তু কুইক আসতো, but in case this is the weight, this is the lighter weight, the obstruction হলে এটা কিন্তু লেটে, downfall হতো লেটে, but if there is ideal case, the vacuum, there is no air, so if there is no air, the air frictional force or the air buoyancy is not applicable here, so same time from here this side and this side, same time they reach the ground, not on the basis of this their different of masses. If there is an air, there is an other question is there, so this is the quickly overcome, but is not quickly overcome, so this type taken is. But if there is a vacuum, so it is the same start in the same time. If it's just lose at the 5 pm, suppose 5 pm, this is 5.5 or 5:30 pm, you reach, this is 5 and this is 5:30, time taken is 30 minutes, this is 5 pm, this also reach 5:30 minutes, same time is reached. If there is a vacuum, because there is no air resistance, air frictional force or buoyancy is applicable, so this is a thing. So mg, g is not depends on the mass, but if there is an air resistance, so which one is the lighter, which takes certain time. Suppose a iron ball or a feather, if you just lose air, so feather is time taken for that, because the air resistance are there and the buoyant force is there, but in case of the heavier thing, is quickly down on that surface. Okay, so now one thing is there, g maximum in earth surface and the pole. G is maximum, the value of g is maximum in the earth surface and the pole, and minimum in the equator, in the earth. Okay, and value of g decrease when you just altitude, from the earth surface you increase the altitude, g is decreased, is depth, you just depth, so this also, suppose here earth surface, g is maximum here, if you just altitude, here is the g is decreased, here is also g is decreased, to be value of g decrease with the altitude, এই altitude বাড়ছে, so here suppose this earth surface, এখানে g, here is the g is more less than this, maximum is here, if you just increase the altitude, the g also decrease, and in the same thing surface towards the center of the mines, if you just down this, the g also decrease, in the center there is 0. It's clear to you? This is the acceleration due to gravity, the acceleration and other things. Next day I will upload the different mathematical part of this dimension in motion in one dimension and different maths of this. Okay, so this for today. If you just understand, please share and subscribe the channel. Thank you. Thank you, student, for that. Okay, thank you.